The rescue smoke filled the air. The space station was breaking apart. Sirens screamed through the metal halls as fire lit up the sky outside the broken windows. John ran. His boots hit the floor with heavy thuds, and his chest burned from running. Too long. He was not a soldier. He was just a mechanic who came to fix broken panels. But now war had reached the station. Behind him, laser fire echoed. The enemy, tall armored aliens, were killing everyone in sight. John turned into a dark hallway. It was silent here. Dust floated in the air, and lights blinked weakly. He stopped to catch his breath, leaning against the wall. That's when he heard it. A soft, strange sound, like metal grinding and breathing. Carefully, John moved forward. His flashlight shook in his hand. The hallway ended at a sealed door, half open. Inside, shadows moved. He stepped in. The room looked like an old storage bay. Broken crates, old wires, and shattered glass covered the floor. And in the center, someone lay on the ground, a tall figure in silver armor. John froze. It was one of them, the alien warriors. Enemies. She was hurt. Sparks shot from her shoulder and her helmet was cracked. Blood, thick and dark purple, leaked from her side. He should run, but she looked barely alive, and she wasn't holding a weapon. John took a slow step forward, then another. She didn't move. Hey, can you hear me? He said. No answer. He knelt beside her. You're gonna die here if I don't help. Still nothing. He opened his emergency kit. I must be crazy, he whispered, and started to patch the wound. Suddenly, her hand grabbed his wrist. Strong, cold. Her eyes opened. Deep, gold, glowing slightly, staring straight into his. John froze. The alien looked at his face for a long moment. Her hand loosened. You saved me? She said in a soft, metallic voice. John nodded, slowly. Yeah, I guess I did. She sat up with effort. Her armor made grinding noises as she moved. She looked around, confused, then focused on him again. No, one has done this, not for me, she said. John tried to smile. Well, you're lucky I'm stupid. She tilted her head, not understanding. Then suddenly she reached up to her helmet. No, wait, John began, but she had already started. With slow, deliberate hands, she removed her helmet. Her face was pale silver with soft patterns glowing just beneath the skin. Her hair was black and braided tightly. Her eyes were fierce but calm now. My name is Reza, she said. John blinked. I'm John. She looked at him strangely. John, she repeated, as if testing the sound. Then she nodded once. I take off my armor before you. I accept you. We are now bonded. What? It is done, she said simply. You saved my life. You touched my blood. You saw my face. Now we are connected. You are my mate. John stared at her, confused. I think something's wrong with your translator. There is no mistake, Reza said. This is the law of my people. You did not run. You stayed. You healed me. This bond is for life. He stood up, backing away slowly. Look, I just wanted to help. I didn't mean to mate or bond or whatever that means. She also stood, slower than him, but tall and proud. You cannot undo it. The vow has been made. Great, John muttered. So I go from fixing broken pipes to marrying an alien warrior in one day. Reza narrowed her eyes. I do not understand your tone. He sighed. I don't understand any of this. A loud beep came from Reza's wrist. She looked down. A small red light blinked. They're coming, she said. My people, or maybe yours. John moved to the door and peeked outside. Distant footsteps. Shadows. Not friendly, he whispered. We have to move. Reza nodded and picked up her weapon. Can you fight? He asked. She looked at him. For my mate, I will kill them all. John rubbed his forehead. Please, stop calling me that. They ran together down the hallway, fire behind them, danger ahead. But something had changed. They were no longer strangers. The bond. The metal door slammed shut behind them. Smoke followed like a crawling monster. John and Raeza ran through dark corridors, each step echoing like a warning. Their footsteps matched, one human, one alien, yet now somehow in sync. John was sweating. His heart pounded. He kept looking over at Raeza, still in pieces of her silver armor, holding her weapon tightly. Her expression never changed, cold, sharp, focused, but her eyes kept watching him. They reached a broken elevator shaft. John looked down. The drop was too far. No way down, he said, breathing hard. Raeza looked up instead. We go up. There's nothing up there. There is a maintenance tunnel on level 7. I saw it in your station map. John frowned. How do you even... I read quickly. John shook his head. Great. My accidental alien wife is smarter than me too. I'm not your wife, Raeza said. I am your bondmate. It is not the same. John didn't answer. He grabbed a loose cable and started climbing. Raeza followed easily, like a shadow. When they reached the tunnel, they crawled inside. It was narrow and full of dust. Pipes dripped, strange liquid. They stopped in the dark. No sounds behind them. Safe. For now. John sat down, finally catching his breath. Raeza sat opposite him, silently watching. What the hell just happened back there? He asked. You almost got killed. I dragged you out and now I'm some kind of chosen one. You are not chosen, she replied. You are accepted. Accepted into what? A bond of honor, life, survival. That's not how humans work, he said. We don't just link up with people because they save us. Raeza tilted her head. Then why did you save me? John opened his mouth, closed it, looked away. I don't know, he finally said. You looked like you were going to die. I didn't want to watch someone else die, not again. Raeza didn't speak. Then she reached behind her back and took off one more piece of armor, the chest plate. Underneath was a tight black suit, battle-scarred and glowing softly. John looked at her, confused. You're still taking your armor off? This is my vow, she said. Piece by piece, I give my life to the bond. I didn't ask for that. But I did, she said, quietly. I chose you. Suddenly the tunnel shook violently. A loud boom echoed through the walls. What was that? John asked. Tracking bomb, Raeza said. They have found us. How? We were careful. You touched my blood, Raeza said. If my people want me back, they can follow it. You're saying they're hunting you? Yes, because I removed my armor. For a human. That is forbidden. John's face went pale. So I just made you a criminal in your own world? Yes. A pause. Then Raeza added, but I would still choose the same. John didn't know what to say. Suddenly a sound came from deeper in the tunnel, a soft clicking noise, like metal legs tapping against the walls. What now? John whispered. Raeza stood slowly. They sent a seeker. It will not stop until it finds the bond. John pulled out his small sidearm. This thing can't stop a seeker, can it? Raeza looked at the weapon. No. Then what can? Me? She said. Before John could argue, Raeza moved forward into the shadows. Her body glowed faintly, her fingers brushing the wall. Then, with perfect control, she turned off the light on her wristband. She became part of the dark. The clicking grew louder, closer. John crouched low, holding his breath. He wanted to call her back, but something told him not to. She knew this enemy. She was trained for it. Then, silence. Then, metal crashing. Sparks. A scream. Not human. Then nothing. A few moments later, Raeza returned, dragging a broken piece of the seeker, its red eye still flickering. She dropped it at his feet. John stared at the remains. You just killed that thing. In the dark? Raisa nodded. It was not difficult. I think I'm starting to be afraid of you, John muttered. You should be, she said without smiling. I was born to destroy humans. Comforting. But now, my mission is different. John looked at her. What is your mission now? To protect you. Until death. John stared at her for a long time. I don't want to be protected. I want to understand. Then you must come with me, Raisa said. There is a place where answers live, but it is far and full of enemies. John sighed. Of course it is. We will leave when the sun of this station dies, Raisa said, standing tall again. John stood too. His hands were shaking, but he hid it. Fine, but one thing, Raisa. Yes? Stop calling me mate. Raisa tilted her head, eyes glowing faintly. Then what shall I call you, John? He thought for a moment. A very unlucky human. She gave him a strange, almost smile. Then come, unlucky human. Your fate has already begun. They stepped into the dark tunnel together. Behind them, the station continued to burn. Ahead of them, the galaxy was watching. Hunted John had never walked through space without a suit. But now, here he was, standing in an open tunnel between two broken parts of the station. No helmet, no oxygen tank. Just Raisa beside him, holding a strange, glowing orb that pushed a bubble of air around them. He should have been afraid. He should have been panicking. But strangely, he wasn't. Maybe because Raisa never showed fear. Maybe because fear didn't matter anymore. The rules of his old life were gone. They reached the other side of the tunnel and dropped into a dark, empty shuttle bay. Everything was silent, abandoned. Raisa stopped and looked up at the ceiling. This was once a drop point. My kind came here to take prisoners. John looked around. Where are the others now? She didn't answer. Suddenly, a sound buzzed from her wrist device. Her eyes narrowed. What is it? John asked. They've released a bounty. On you? No, she said. On us. John blinked. Wait, me too? Yes, because I broke the code and you made me break it. John frowned. You're blaming me? I'm explaining the truth. A hologram flashed in the air. A red image of Raisa's face appeared, spinning slowly. Alien writing circled her. The bounty offer was high. Even John could tell that just from the tone of the symbols. Raisa turned off the image. Now, every hunter between this star and the next will come looking for us. We must leave this system. With what ship? John asked. We're stuck on a floating junkyard. Raisa didn't reply. She turned and walked toward a hidden panel in the wall. With a twist of her wrist, a door hissed open. Behind it, a small alien fighter ship, half covered in dust. John raised his eyebrows. Please tell me you know how to fly that. I built it, Raisa said. Before they could enter, a sharp noise rang out. Click, click, click. Metal legs. 8 of them. John spun around. Another seeker? No, Raisa said. Her voice was suddenly sharp, alert. Something worse. Out of the shadows crawled a creature twice the size of a man. Not alien, not robot, something in between. Its face was covered by a mask of bone. Its body was made of old tech and flesh. John stepped back. What is that? A bounty wraith, Raisa said quietly. It doesn't hunt for money. It hunts for pride. The wraith opened its chest. Inside was a twisted collection of things. Badges, helmets, body parts. Trophies. Then it spoke in a voice made of grinding metal and ancient hunger. You broke the code, Raisa of Vorn. Now you die outside the honor of the old blood. John raised his weapon. Raisa didn't move. You know I can't win a fight against that thing, right? He whispered. You're not going to fight it, Raisa said. I am. Before he could stop her, Raisa stepped forward and pulled the last pieces of armor off her arms. She dropped them on the floor with a heavy clang. John's breath caught. Her full markings were now visible, lines that glowed like fire under her skin, a living symbol of power and exile. The wraith hissed. "You walk as unarmored? You have chosen death?" "No," Raisa said. "I have chosen freedom." Then she attacked. It was not like anything John had ever seen. Raisa moved like a blur, her body spinning and striking, her hands glowing with energy. The wraith fought back with claws and plasma, but she didn't. Stop. The room shook with every hit. Sparks flew, metal shattered. John wanted to help, but he knew he'd only get in the way. So he watched and remembered something she told him earlier. "I was born to destroy humans." Now he knew. That training, it made her unstoppable. But the wraith was old, smart, dangerous. It grabbed Raisa mid-air and slammed her to the ground. Hard! She didn't move. "No!" John shouted. The wraith turned toward him. It stepped forward, claws ready. John backed up. Then he saw it. A power cable, hanging from the ceiling. He grabbed a metal rod from the floor and jumped toward the panel. As the wraith reached for him, John struck the cable, sending a burst of sparks across the room. Electricity hit the wraith and Raisa both. The creature screamed. Raisa's body twitched. Then her eyes opened. Bright. Burning. She jumped up, grabbed the wraith's head and twisted. Hard. A crunch. Then silence. The creature dropped, smoke rising from its chest. John fell to his knees. "Tell me that was the only one." Raisa checked her device. It was the first, not the last. She walked over and helped him up. "You saved me," she said. "Only fair," John muttered. She stared at him. "No, it is more than fair. You used your weakness to defeat power. That is not human logic. That is honor." He looked at her, breathing hard. "We need to get out of here before something worse shows up." She nodded. Agreed. They entered the fighter ship. Raisa placed her hand on the controls. The ship came alive with a deep hum. As they launched into space, John looked back at the burning station. Pieces were already falling apart. "What, now?" he asked. "We go where they cannot follow," she said. "Where's that?" Raisa didn't look at him. "My homeworld. If we survive the landing." John groaned. Of course. Far behind them, a hidden satellite blinked. A signal was sent. The hunt had just begun. Alien heart. The stars stretched across space like ancient scars, cold, endless, and watching. Raisa's ship, shaped like a silver blade, cut through the silence. Inside, John sat beside her in the co-pilot seat. Neither spoke. He stared out the window. Blackness everywhere. Behind them, they had left the wreckage of a burning station. Ahead, a planet no human had ever set foot on. Raisa's home. His chest was tight, not from fear, from something else, something heavier. "How far?" he asked, finally breaking the silence. "We will enter atmosphere in one rotation," Raisa replied. "Is that your way of saying soon?" "Yes." John gave a tired half-smile. "You really hate small talk, don't you?" "I do not understand the point of small things," she answered. There it was again, her bluntness. It should have annoyed him, but it didn't. Not anymore. "What will they do when they see us?" he asked, more seriously now. She didn't answer at first. Then, "They will try to kill me. They will use as leverage to break my vow." "Your people really don't like rule breakers, huh?" "No," she said. "Especially not ones who fall for the enemy." John froze. "Is that what you think happened?" She turned to him. For once there was no sharpness in her voice. "I do not know what is happening, John, but I do not think of you as the enemy anymore." The words hung in the air between them. He didn't reply. Not because he didn't care, but because something inside him was starting to change. A memory, hidden. They landed on a silent ridge overlooking Raeza's world. The planet was harsh and beautiful, full of violet mountains and glowing rivers. The sky pulsed with light from 3 moons. Strange beasts walked the cliffs in the distance. "This is where you grew up?" John asked. "No," she said. "This is where I was made." They entered a deep cave system hidden behind the rocks. The path twisted like a snake. Ancient symbols glowed along the walls, alien words pulsing with energy. John touched one. "What do these mean?" "They are stories," Raeza said, "of those who passed the trials, warriors, leaders." "Is your name here?" he asked. She didn't answer. They reached a massive underground chamber. In the center, a machine, glowing red, silent, and alive. Around it were broken armor pieces, shattered weapons, and something else. John stepped closer. A metal tube with dark glass stood in the back. Inside, something floated. He squinted. "Is that a person?" "A clone," Raeza said. "Of you?" He whispered. She nodded once. "There were 12 of us. I am the only one who lived." John turned slowly to face her. "Raeza, what are you?" She stepped forward. "I am a weapon. Not born, engineered, trained, programmed, everything. Was chosen for war." John's voice lowered. "Then why are you telling me this now?" "Because you must know what I am before you decide what you are." "What I am," he repeated. She reached into a hidden panel and pulled out an old data pad. She handed it to him. "Read it." He looked at the screen. His heart stopped. Dupt was a file. Project Human Link. Subject 19A. John Mercer. Status. Monitor. Observe. Influence. If bond successful, activate final protocol. John dropped the pad. "What the hell is this?" Raeza's face was unreadable. "That file was written by your people, long before we met. You were part of something. Maybe still are." "No," John said, shaking his head. "I didn't sign up for anything. I was just a mechanic." "You were placed," Raeza said, "near our testing routes, on a station, within my patrol range. Your DNA matches the bonding frequency." John backed away. "You think I'm part of some plan to control you?" "I do not know," she said softly. "But I know the bond feels real. That cannot be programmed, can it?" He looked down at his hands. Everything inside him felt like it was collapsing. Then, a new sound. A deep hum. Above them, the ceiling opened. A ship hovered above the cave, sleek, black, and terrifying. Symbols glowed on its surface. Raeza's eyes widened. "That's not one of mine." The ship fired. The chamber exploded. John and Raeza were thrown across the floor. The ceiling cracked. Fire fell from above. "Run!" Raeza shouted. They scrambled through the tunnels, the ship above tearing through stone like paper. "They found us," she said. "The bounty was a cover. This is something bigger." "Who are they?" John shouted. She didn't answer, because she didn't know. The escape they reached the ship. Raeza took the controls. John jumped in beside her. Chased by energy blasts, they flew through the mountains, barely avoiding cliffs and crashing rocks. John turned to her, breathing hard. "Tell me what that was." "A ghost faction," Raeza said. "Old enemies, thought to be extinct." "What do they want?" She looked at him. "You." Betrayal Code Raeza's ship landed deep inside an abandoned research station, hidden beneath a frozen moon. Thick ice covered the hangar doors. Old machines lined the walls like rusted skeletons. Every step echoed through the dead silence. John stepped out first, his breath fogged the air. "This place gives me the creeps on," he muttered. Raeza scanned the walls. "It should. This is where the bond program began. Not on my world. On yours." John turned sharply. "What do you mean? My world? You said..." "I said what I knew. Now, I know more." They moved through the dark halls. Broken cameras followed their movements. Doors hissed open as Raeza approached. Inside, they found something neither of them expected. A human, standing, alone, arms behind his back, wearing a long gray coat with a black insignia. John froze. "Dr. Kess?" he whispered. The man turned, slowly. His face was older than John remembered, but the eyes were the same, sharp and unreadable. "John," the doctor said. "You made it. I wasn't sure you'd survive." John stepped back, his voice cold. "You lied to me." "I gave you a life," Kess replied. "You were selected for something greater." "I didn't ask to be part of some twisted experiment," Kessie walked toward him slowly. "You bonded with her, didn't you?" John's hands clenched. Raeza stepped beside him, eyes glowing. "She is not your weapon," John growled. Kess chuckled. "No, she's your weapon now." In a flash, Raeza pulled a blade from her side. "Say that again, human, and you will not leave this room with your bones." Kess didn't flinch. "She doesn't understand. But you do, John. That bond between you two? It's not love. It's not fate. It's a biological code. Old tech mixed with ancient alien DNA. A signal designed to rewrite loyalty." John shook his head. "That's not true. It feels real, doesn't it? That's how good the programming is." Raeza turned to John, her voice low. "Is this true? Did you know?" "I swear," he said. "I didn't. Not until the files. Not until now." Kess sighed. "It doesn't matter. The bond is live, active, and now both governments want it." Raeza narrowed her eyes. "Both?" "Yes. Human Command and the High Council of Vorn. They've been working together for years. Fake war. Real fear. They needed control. The bond was the solution." John stepped back in disbelief. "You're saying all of this? The war? The deaths? A lie," Kess said. "To test unity. Or destroy it." Suddenly, alarm screamed. Raeza looked at her wrist. "Drop ships. Incoming, 2 from your fleet, John, 3 from mine." "They found us again," John muttered. "No," Raeza said. "He called them." They turned. Kess held a communicator still active in his hand. Raeza raised her blade. "Wait," Kess said. "Kill me, and you'll have no way out. I can help you vanish." "We don't want to vanish," John said. "We want the truth out. Then, you'll be hunted forever. We already are." Kess sighed. "So be it." The walls began to shake. Explosions above. Raeza looked at John. "The tunnel below. You saw it earlier?" "Yes," he said. "Back near the cryo chamber." "We run. Now." They sprinted through collapsing halls. Lights flickered. Voices echoed through the speakers. Orders in both alien and human languages. Shoot on sight. Eliminate the bond. Through fire and ice, they reached the underground launch pad. A rusted ship waited, barely functional. John climbed into the pilot seat. "I hope this still flies." "I will make it fly," Raeza said. As they took off, enemy fire chased them. Flames rose from the ice. Inside the cockpit, John's hands trembled. "Do you believe it?" he asked Raeza quietly. "That this bond is just a code?" Raeza was silent. Then, "I don't know." "But you feel it too, right?" "I feel something, but I no longer trust my own instincts." "That's what they stole from me." John looked at her. "Then trust me." She turned her head slowly. "I do," she whispered. "The transmission." They landed on a hidden satellite relay station near a dying star. No one lived here. No one came here. It was the last place left where they could send a message. John and Raeza entered the control room. Ancient tech buzzed to life. "I need time," John said, typing fast. "I'll send the truth to every network, every ship, every world." Raeza stood guard, her blade ready. As he uploaded the files, a voice came through the comms. "John Mercer, Raeza of Vorn. Cease all action. You are now classified as universal threats. Return immediately or face destruction. John hit send all. The signal spread. Millions of devices lit up across the galaxy. The truth was out, but truth has a cost. The system overloaded. Sparks flew. The station began to fall apart. Raeza grabbed John. We need to go. Now. They reached their ship just as the station exploded behind them. In space, they floated in silence, staring at the light of 1,000 ships rising in response. Some were coming to kill them, some to follow. Armorless, the stars were no longer silent. Ships moved across the galaxy like hungry beasts, some chasing Raeza and John, others seeking the truth they had just released. Some wanted justice, others wanted blood. But for now, Theo, two of them drifted in a stolen ship hiding in the dark side of a dying moon. Inside the ship, it was quiet. John sat alone in the pilot chair, staring at a small blinking light on the console. Their fuel was low. Their weapons were nearly gone. But his mind wasn't on the ship. It was on her. Behind him, Raeza stood near the back of the cabin, silent, staring out into space. The last time he looked at her, he saw something different. Not just a warrior, not just a weapon, but someone afraid to lose herself. A warrior. Undone without a word, Raeza stepped into the center of the room. She began to remove her final piece of armor. The arm plates, the energy belt, the spine lock, the collar ring. Each piece clanged against the metal floor like a funeral bell. John turned, confused. Raeza, what are you doing? She didn't answer. When the final piece fell, she stood there, bare in her black skin suit, marked only by the glowing lines of her body. Then she knelt. A warrior of Vorn, kneeling before a human. I break the final code, she whispered. What code? John asked, stepping toward her. The code of separation. My people believe armor is identity. I no longer wear it. I no longer belong to them. John reached out, but she caught his hand. I have seen your world in dreams, John. I have seen fire, betrayal, and sorrow. But in that chaos, I saw you. Not perfect, not strong, but true. I don't know what I am anymore, he said. Not after what we found out. Then let us be something new. Together. She looked up, her golden eyes soft for the first time. John knelt beside her. We started as strangers, then we were enemies. Now, I don't know what this is. Raeza took his hand. This is the bond, John, not a code, not a trick, a choice. Then the alarm screamed. Ambush 3 ships dropped out of warp above the moon. All unmarked, silent, deadly. Ghost faction, Raeza said, standing. They found us again. John rushed to the console. They're jamming everything. We can't run. Raeza's eyes narrowed. Then we fight. No, John said. We won't survive this. Raeza walked toward a hidden compartment. Inside was a device, one she never showed him before. What's that? He asked. The only thing that can destroy a ghost core ship. You had a bomb this whole time? It only works at close range, she said. It's a suicide tool. John shook his head. We're not using that. Raeza turned to him. You are not. I am. No, John shouted. I won't let you. You don't have a choice, she said gently. If they capture us, they will rip the bond from your mind. Use it. Spread it. You will lose everything that makes you, you. She took the device and walked toward the hatch. John followed her. You promised. You said we would face everything together. I lied, she said. I needed you to survive. The choice, the enemy ships descended. Their weapons glowed red, ready to fire. John blocked the hatch. You walk out there, you die. And you live, she replied. Why do you care so much? She paused. Because I finally understand your kind. You fight not because you're strong, but because you're afraid. And still you fight anyway. He lowered his voice. There has to be another way. There isn't. Raiza placed the device in her chest plate and reached for the airlock controls. John stood frozen. Then, he reached into his jacket and pulled out something small, a copy of the bond crystal she had given him before. He placed it in her hand. "If this is goodbye," he said, "then take all of me with you." Raiza stared at it. Then, slowly she let it fall to the ground. "Refuse your goodbye." She pressed a button. The ship shook, but didn't explode. Instead, a pulse of energy pushed out from Raiza's body. Her eyes turned white. Her veins glowed. John stumbled back. "What are you doing?" "I'm rewriting the bond," she whispered, "removing the code, leaving only the truth." Her body began to weaken. John caught her before she fell. "Stop. You're killing yourself," he said. "No," she whispered. "I'm setting us free." Then everything went white. The aftermath. John awoke in a medical bay. Blinking lights, soft humming. Raiza lay in the bed beside him, breathing but unconscious. A voice echoed from the doorway. "She burned out the link," said a tall woman in a diplomatic robe. "No more control, no more code." "Who are you?" John asked, sitting up. "A witness," she said. "And now, a believer." Ships outside flew with new symbols, half human, half alien. The galaxy had changed, and somewhere in the silence, Raiza's eyes finally opened. Mates and monsters, the stars were at war. Above the twin planets of Vorn and Earth, two fleets floated in silence. Both sides had received the truth. About the bond, about the lies, about the ones who had turned them into enemies. But peace was not the answer for all. Some wanted revenge, some wanted control, and some wanted to finish what they started. Inside the command deck of a neutral station floating between the worlds, John stood alone, staring out the window. He watched the fleets move like shadows across the stars. His hands trembled, not from fear, from what he was about to do. Behind him, a voice spoke. "She's ready." John turned. Raiza stood in the doorway. No armor, no weapons. Just her, tall, pale, marked by the glowing scars of the bond that nearly killed her. But her eyes burned with fire again. "You shouldn't be out of bed," John said. "I shouldn't be alive," she replied. "But here we are." They stared at each other in silence. Then Raiza stepped forward and took his hand. "Together?" she asked. John nodded. Together. A council divided in the grand hall of the Alliance station. Leaders from both species sat around a glowing table. They argued in every language, voices rising, fingers pointing. "She broke our laws." One alien shouted. "He was used like a weapon," said a human officer. "They bonded illegally. Their actions started a revolution. They ended the war." Raiza and John walked into the room. Silence fell. Raiza spoke first. "You created us, to control each other, but we chose to protect each other." A general stood. "You expect forgiveness?" "No," John replied. "We expect justice, for the billions used as pawns." The leaders looked uneasy. Then, the lights went out. The final enemy. The walls turned red. Sirens echoed. Then a new voice boomed through the room. "You should have destroyed them when you had the chance." Raiza's eyes widened. She knew that voice. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. Half machine, half flesh, cloaked in armor with symbols from both human and alien war codes. "Commander Varric?" Raiza whispered. "You were dead." "I evolved," he said. John stepped forward. "You were behind the Ghost faction?" "Yes," Varric replied. "I created the war. I created the bond. You were all just tools." "You made us kill each other," Raiza said, her voice shaking with rage. "I gave you purpose," Varric replied. "And now I will take it back." He pressed a button. The station shook. A hidden weapon, buried deep within the station's core, came online. "Project Overlink," Varric said. A signal that will force every bonded mind into one command. Mine? John froze. You're going to enslave both species. No. Varric smiled. I'm going to unite them. Under my voice. The Bond reborn Reza turned to John. It's happening again, she said. But this time we can stop it. How? John asked. We can't reach every bonded soldier in time. Yes, we can, she said, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. Through us. Raeza pulled him close. Their foreheads touched. If the bond was created to control, she said, we'll rewrite it into free. The glow around their bodies returned, but stronger. It spread through the floor, into the station, into the network. A new signal began to fight Varric's code. John screamed in pain. Raeza held him tighter. You have to let it in. I don't know how. You do. You always have. The battle for every mind outside. The station, chaos exploded. Ships turned on each other. Pilots screamed as their thoughts were hijacked. But then, light. The pulse from Reza and John reached them. One by one, ships stopped firing. Soldiers blinked, free from control. Varric watched his army crumble. No, you can't stop me. He charged forward. Reza moved to block him. Varric raised his blade. John jumped between them. The blade struck. John fell. The end of the war, Reza screamed, a sound that shook the stars. She caught John in her arms. His chest was bleeding, but he smiled. You chose me, he whispered. I still do, she said, holding him close. She turned to Varric and unleashed everything. The light from her body burned through the station. Varric was erased, not by a weapon, but by the bond he had tried to control. The war ended.